Hello, Awakened Creator, and welcome to our latest Creator Beyond the Veil channeling. Today's channeling is bringing forward the infamous Mr. Vincent Van Gogh. I personally have been quite resistant, I will say, to channeling Vincent. And I think it's because of my own struggles with mental health and suicide and just the way that he left this earth and feeling conflicted about that. But one thing that I have learned in my connections with creators beyond the veil is that the part of us that understands the bigger picture, the part of us that understands purpose of life and our connection to the divine and kind of what it all was and how to make sense of our lives is fully illuminated when we pass over. Meaning that these beings who maybe had tumultuous earthly experiences or aspects of themselves not so desirable or positive that presented themselves embodied, that the spiritual energy of them after they've crossed over has had time to reflect on all of that, has had time to feel into that, has had time to make sense of it. So now that his physical body is gone, he is his higher self all the time. And so we get to connect with that version of him. And I have to tell you, there's very clearly a soft spot in Vincent's heart for artists moving through emotional and mental health issues. The guidance that came through was so beautiful, and I'm going to stop talking so that you can go watch. But I do just want to say thank you. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. Maybe share it with somebody who loves Van Gogh or is super into spiritually topics and channeled information. And then also, please join us in the Awakened Creators community. This is what it's all about. We are about connecting to higher wisdom and understanding our lives as artists from a spiritual perspective. And if that sounds really good to you and you would love to be surrounded by other creatives who have that perspective on their journey, then definitely check us out on Instagram at Awakened Creators. I was going to say at awakenedcreators.com. No, don't go there. Well, that's our website. Okay, I'm going to keep this in because this is just an honest representation of me. We are awakenedcreators.com is our website. However, Instagram, we are at awakened.creators. Yay, I got it. And two, if you are interested in connecting with your highest self so that you can create your most authentic art, I have a free heart alignment ritual that I would love to open and share with you. This is an easy 3-step ritual process that you can engage in before you get started creating to make sure you truly are creating from the heart. And I will say, creating your most honest art. You'll stay tuned and see Mr. Van Gogh was very insightful about how we can create our most honest art. So thank you so much for watching, and let's connect beyond the veil. Vincent's energy coming into this space is very gentle and very sweet. I keep wanting to refer to him as a sweet boy, in that his energy is very soft and gentle, and there's something very soothing and almost mother-like about his energetic right now. As I was preparing for this channeling, I felt called to use the essential oil of the rose to wear for this channeling, and then also called to hold the moss agate today. Also very gentle, calming stone. And I just feel this really sweet, childlike energy coming forward with Vincent. Turn the music down a little bit more. Make sure we hear it, but so much of this practice as a channeler is preparing myself to receive the energy. So thank you. I feel Vincent is very patient and has been very patient with me as I have struggled to connect with his energy through the years because of the way he's left the planet and my own struggles with mental health and with suicide. And so there is a part of me that has been resistant to bringing him forward and opening myself up to bring him forward. But there's something about Vincent that really wants to come in and comfort us. And it's interesting that at the time I'm recording this outside, it's quite stormy and thunder has clapped a few times as I've been preparing myself energetically for this. So there's definitely a shift, a change that is coming through, that is cracking open, and I am excited to hear what Vincent has to say. So let's tune in. I'm gonna switch. Not sure where my clear quartz went. Oh, it's in my pocket. You ever forget about crystals? Okay. It's in my pocket. But I also have my selenite. So I have my selenite, I have my moss agate, and I have my clear quartz. So we are ready, Vincent. We are ready. I am ready. The vessel is ready. The channel is ready. Come forth, brother. Let's hear what you have to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So much gratitude. So much gratitude pouring out. Very grateful and thankful Vincent is to have your audience, your attention, your time, your energy, your space to give this message to this community that is so desperately needed and called for at this time. So the gratitude is mutual, Vincent. Thank you. Just determining how to receive this energy. Yes. Okay. I am feeling called to have Vincent by my side and read his energy, read his shares, and speak them aloud to you, to the camera. Definitely feeling over to my left side. So there is this softness, this feminine energy with him that is quite comforting. What message do you have to share with the Awakened Creators community, Vincent? Why did you want to come forward at this time? What is it that you wanted to share with us all? So he's saying it's time to come together in love. It's time to come together in love. And what he means by that is that in order for us to really come together in love, we have to, as artists, be in love with what we're doing and be love embodied in this experience. And he's ensuring us that in order for us to feel that love, there is a lot of work that we get to do and that we get to experience, and things that we get to face, and struggles that are part of this human condition that we get to encounter. And I'm being called to invite us all into the knowing and the wisdom that these challenges that we're facing and these things that are coming up for us are for our greatest good. And that is something he's saying he wished that he understood more when he was embodied. That the lessons that he was learning, the things that he was struggling with, the obstacles that felt insurmountable in his mind, that they were actually breakthrough points. They were intended to be breakthrough points. That he misunderstood and misinterpreted how the spirit grows. And he wanted it to be this beautiful unfolding, this beautiful, fragrant, ever-present, lovely experience. And although it is that, there's the contrast, there's the shadow, there's the opportunity to face obstacles that we've been facing for a long time. And he's wishing he would have understood that while he was embodied, that he would have seen that both sides were necessary, that both things were needed for spiritual growth. And not just understand it on an intellectual level, but to really know it in his heart. And so part of this message coming through is his call to those of us who struggle with mental health issues or with the preconceived notion that everything, when it's going right, when it's good, when life is perfect, that it's always wonderful. And that a crack in the paint or a struggle that appears is a sign that something is very wrong. And this is not the perspective that he is offering to us today. In this illumined state in which he has reflected on the lifetime that he had embodied here, he's saying, I now know that all was needed in order for me to flourish. And that I wish I would have listened more in those times of darkness, instead of told the world what I thought of it. And so what he means by that is like, it's coming through as this speaking ill of our lives, telling the world our darkness and perpetuating that energy. right? And he's saying he wishes he could have given it more space, given it more time, given it more understanding, given it more love, quite frankly. And not been so quick to assume something was wrong with him, or that something was wrong with his life, or that, there was some kind of irreversible breakage in his beingness. And instead, he's saying, I could have seen that it was all part of the whole. And that he wanted to believe that life was pure and beauty only, and all of these wonderful things. But in reality, it's both. There's both elements there, and it doesn't have to mean that when we are struggling that anything is inherently wrong with us or our lives. And he wants to offer each of us an opportunity to go through his works, he's saying. Go look at them again. And see me struggle to find beauty in the darkness. A few times, he's saying, it has come through clear that he's touched it, but it was never embodied. And he still struggled to make sense of the shadow that was showing up for him. And to see it as an opportunity to grow and to break through and to allow those parts of himself to be loved into release. And he's like, we get so hyper fixated on healing and on our shadow and on the things we think that are wrong with us and that people tell us is wrong with us. And we get so hyper focused on trying to fix ourselves like we're these broken things. And he's just expressing his frustration with that mindset, because he's had that mindset. And is offering now an illuminated perspective from where he's at in his new vantage point, in reflecting of that lifetime and seeing it was all so beautiful. And if he would have just opened himself up to see even the darkness parts were beautiful, even the struggling parts had beauty in them, that there was something there being offered that he was refusing. So he's saying when life offers you an opportunity to face a shadow, to approach and to see the parts of self that we don't like or that disturb us, that is such a gift. It is such a gift. It is such a gift. And if you can approach it as a gift, not a sign that you're a bad person, not a sign that you're forever broken, not a sign that there's anything wrong with you, but if you could just allow the gift to reveal itself with patience and kindness towards yourself, and gentleness and openness and willingness to listen. This feels very emotional. Listen, he said. Listen to these parts of yourself. They are messengers of love. They are showing you what parts of you are starving for love from you. From you. From you. To offer those pieces of your self-love by listening. And not overly identifying with them, not taking it all the way, you know, like this is who I am, this pain is who I am, but just this is a gift. This is an opportunity for me to stand in. He's saying divine motherhood, so that's interesting. Because I was feeling this mothering energy from him. To stand in divine motherhood and hold those parts of self. Gently, kindly, hold space. Let it be okay. Let it be okay, but also understand and know that this is not you. This is not all of you. That this part of you is just that. It is part of you. It is not all of you. And we get to give ourselves the gift of wholeness by allowing these parts of selves to be folded back in through love and compassion, forgiveness, understanding, holding space, releasing, surrendering. It is all feminine energy. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you. Is there more you would like to say on this topic? He is complete. Let's allow space for another message. What more do you have to offer to the Awakened Creators community, Vincent? And he wants to offer such a simple message. He's saying to just appreciate life. There is so much on earth to appreciate. And he loved to appreciate nature. He loved to appreciate flowers. He loved to appreciate the sky. He loved to appreciate the world in that way. And so he's saying that part of himself that was capable of appreciating just life as it was, in its beauty, in its perfect imperfection, that was his highest self. That was the part of him that was wise, that was coming through, that was saying, look how beautiful these things. And that's really, he's saying he wanted to be honest. And I'm being pointed towards, it's interesting because I've seen a couple of his more famous paintings here in my mind's eye, and I haven't shared it out of fear. And this is Amanda ego talking, like fear that it's incorrect, but I'm going to relax that. Thank you, Spirit. Still learning as a channel. I'm going to relax that, and I'm going to allow these messages to come through. So I want to rewind and say what I saw earlier in the previous message he was bringing us. He was showing me the scream. So there's that, which is another artist, but okay. A similar energy message. Thank you. And now he's offering us this vision of the sunflowers. The honesty of the sunflowers. That some of the petals are kind of bent or wilted and they're not perfect, but they are. They are, but they're not. Like you, right? So there is some reminder here with this that the more honest we can be in our artwork, the better off we are. And not only that, but that we have an opportunity to listen and learn from our heartwork, from our artwork. Because so he's trying to explain how when we're at our best, when we are most aligned, we create the most honest pieces. Whether it's a story, a dance, a music, a painting, whatever, we create honest art. And in the creation of honest art, the lessons contained in that honest art are multifold. They go on and on and on and on and on. So he's encouraging and recommending that you look at your most honest arts, the ones that you really feel like, you love it so much, and watch them for a while. Visual artists primarily speaking to, but anyone who creates something that you can look back on it and ask yourself, like, be open to listening to what new messages it has for you. Be open to listening to what new guidance starts to come through. Be open to listening to how these pieces have evolved over time, just as you've evolved over time. Even though you haven't ever touched them again, they've been finished, they're completed. The more honest that piece was, the more layers of messaging it has for you over time, and you can actually just keep looking at it to help you understand life as you move on. So there's some debate here. He's saying about whether or not you get rid of your art or you give away your art, because there's so much in it. He's saying with technology now, you can capture your art and keep it. And he's saying keep at least something of it, a memory of it, a copy of it, something of it, so that you can continue to learn from it as you go on. And or he's saying, those of you who are really brave, don't sell your original arts. Only sell prints. I don't know. That's an interesting piece of advice. Anything additional with that, Vincent? Yes. Okay. Edward Munch. Yes. Got you. Referring to the artist that I saw in my mind's eye. I'm curious after this if they had a connection or if the timeline even adds up. I don't know. But okay. Thank you. What else? What other message do you have for the Awakened Creators community, Vincent? Why did you want to come through so badly? What do you want to share? It's interesting. So even though my eyes are closed, I kind of got this big bright flash of whiteness. And he said that you can always start over. You can always start over. And tell me more. I'm open to more. So this message about starting over, you can always start over. You can always start again. You can always turn a new page. You can always begin anew. It's really about freeing oneself to evolve. Again, it feels energetically connected to the first message, but this is a little bit new perspective on it, is that he's saying he doesn't think he allowed himself to evolve. Like, if he would have just allowed himself to evolve and allowed himself to be in transformation, things would have been a lot easier. But he resisted transformation. He resisted change because that change and transformation was painful. And he didn't understand, while it's embodied, how to handle that. They didn't have shadow work, and nobody talked about that kind of stuff. You were just crazy. You were just crazy, and that was it. And so, not only is he saying we now have the tools and spiritual wisdom in our collective consciousness now to take advantage of this, but also from his new, higher, more expansive, he should say, more expansive perspective, that allowing oneself to start over, allowing oneself to become new, allowing oneself to transform, allowing oneself to become a blank slate, to let everything you knew before go. Let it be okay that you didn't know before. Let it be okay that you're starting over now. Let it be okay that everything is kind of wonky and in the air and you're not really sure, but you feel like you're on this new path and you're starting this new life. Like, let it be okay. Let that be okay. Let it be okay. And it's not about, it's interesting. He says it's not so much about starting over as it is beginning again. Interesting. Starting again. Stop saying starting over. Say start again. And that's because there's this evolutionary component of the word again. 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 Go again. Do it again. Try it again. Rather than over. Over. Start over. Do you feel how depressing that energy is of the word over? It's over. Starting over. You're starting again. You're starting again. You're starting again. You're starting again. You are always starting again. And that is where he's saying this. He wishes he would have started again. Again, but he was so tired. His humanity was so tired, and he couldn't get there. He couldn't get there. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because guess what? I still got to start again, he's saying. He's still got to start again. And now he's starting again. He's learning again. He's expanding again. He's becoming again. And you're always an artist. This is interesting coming through. You're always an artist. Even in your spirit body, even in ethereal form, you're always creating. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Know that that part is permanent. That part of you is always, always, always. That's beautiful. Thank you. And he wants to offer us this too. I'm starting to see birds flying overhead. It's a new perspective, new vantage point. What is this, Vincent? What do you want to say about these birds? It is just that, just offering us new perspective and welcoming and inviting you and all of us to always like to try to see things from a new vantage point. And this is interesting. He's even saying sometimes when you physically go to a higher vantage point, it helps. So there's this interesting component of embodying wisdom in the earthly realm of you need a new perspective on a project, a relationship, or whatever that you're dealing with. Go for a hike. Go for a hike that literally takes you to a high peak to get a new vantage point. Set that intention. Go be that. Go literally get a new perspective, a higher vantage point on the issue. And that's interesting. I've not heard this before. And it can translate into so many things. So, wow, thank you, Vincent. That's very wise. I'm going to remember that. Wow. What else? What else? What other message do you have, Mr. Vincent Van Gogh, for the Awakened Creators community? Interesting. He's offering us up a perspective and encouragement to be patient on our path. So there's this, and even I feel this song playing right now is reflecting this energy of like we're waiting by the clock. We're just waiting. Tick, 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 tick. When is things going to change? When is something going to change? When is something going to be different? When are we going to move on to the next thing? When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And he's saying, relax, enjoy the ride, be present with where you're at on your path right now. It's all working out. It really is. It really is. And he wants us all to know that. That's interesting. He's saying, I was never a patient person. Whilst embodied. And he wanted to move on, move on, move on. And this is where I'm feeling this this urgency to heal, this urgency to move on, this urgency to like conquer your demons and move through your problems and get through your creative blocks. And that only blocks you more, he's saying. I can't emphasize enough. Okay. So this is he's very adamant about this. So allowing ourselves to allow blocks, allow obstacles on our journey, allow things to say pause, on our project pause for a moment. This idea that we have to barrel through it, we've got to keep going, we've got to we've got to conquer this, we've got to hurry up and fix this, and that energy is counterproductive. It actually ends up making the issue last longer, he's saying. It'll never go away, he's saying. It'll never go away if we come at it with that energy. If we keep fighting it, trying to conquer it. The path forward is through this, where he's circling back to where we hold our shadow and we create space and we honor it and we allow its presence, and we don't try to fix it, and we don't try to fix ourselves, and we don't try to like rush our healing, and we don't try to like push through, but that we sit for a moment, that we allow, not that we wallow, and it's not that we overly identify with it and then take it on and be it and never let it go, but that we sit in observance of it, that we recognize it, and that we also don't rush it with time, that we sit there and we allow the energy to move through us and we just observe. So here's where he's saying that you actually have an observational advantage as an artist, because part of your job as an artist, as a creator, is to observe, to get really good at observing things, at observing life, at observing nature, at observing relationships, at observing dialogue, at observing how people interact with one another. You are taking it all in, right? You're taking it all in vibrationally, whether it's through your eyes, through your ears, through your five senses. You're taking it all in, and you are taking all this information in, all this data, all this input for your creativity, and it's being processed within you, right? It's being processed within you, and then you are expressing it back outward, your version of it, your view, your unique lens through which you see life is what your art ends up becoming. And so allow yourself to get really good at observing emotions, shadow, obstacles, challenges in your life, and just let yourself observe. Let yourself observe. Maybe not get so up close, maybe not stick your big nose in it, maybe not feel like you need to like be fully in it all the time, but just step back and observe. Yes, you feel crummy. Yes, that thing happened. Yes. Just observe. Just observe. Detach a little bit from it. He's highly recommending we start learning how to detach from our own emotional issues. Oh my goodness. He's saying if artists, if we could get this down, if we could learn how to detach, not bypass, not ignore, not deny, but to detach from our emotions, to observe them, to give them space to breathe, but not overly identify with them. He's saying, oh my goodness. Our rates of suicide would go down, depression would go down, anxiety would go down. People would free themselves. So he's highly recommending that we learn to hold space and we learn to detach. That's something that he has become reacquainted with in his spirit form, is this power, he's saying, power we have to observe. It is a power, it is a superpower to observe, and not just to observe life through our eyes, but we get to observe our internal state as well. And that, oh, there's so much goodies in there too. He's saying there's so much rich creative material we gather by just observing ourselves and observing our own energy and observing our own emotions and observing our own thoughts and observing our beliefs and observing our takeaways from certain interactions and our environments. So much rich material that can be used to express and express in a very honest way and create honest art. It is very hard. So he's saying it's very hard to create honest art when you're in it. When you're just in it, when you're just feeling all the things, it's very hard to create honest art. And what he's saying is that it's dishonest because it only has one perspective. The pain of the breakup, the heartache of the thing, the rage and the anger. The art only has one perspective, and you can hear this kind of art. It's everywhere, he said. Dishonest art. It's dishonest art because it's only one-sided. It only contains one perspective. The person who created it hasn't fully observed and integrated the experience. So they're giving you one side of the story, right? Could still be a catchy song, but it's dishonest art. Honest art comes from detaching, being able to really see the big picture, see everything, see all of it, process it internally, and then express it through song, through painting, through dance, through film, through whatever medium. Okay? So he's calling us, this feels like a masterclass in art here, art making. He's calling us to lead with always allowing ourselves as individuals, as human beings, to experience the experience first. Observe it, detach from it, process your stuff. Process your emotional stuff. And in doing so, all of that you end up surrendering and letting go gets to fuel. It's like I'm seeing it drip into the soil, and it's just coming back up and blooming and emerging like a beautiful flower. So nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. There's coming in this thought, this idea. Some artists have that they can only create when they're emotionally disturbed, depressed, drunk, doing this like turmoil, creating in turmoil. Dishonest art. Dishonest art. You will create art, but you will create dishonest art. You will create art that is like this is quite a graphic visual, but it's like puking on the page instead of telling a story. Don't just puke on the page, tell a story. But in order for you to tell a proper story, you must process it within yourself first. You must integrate the lessons. You must observe it. You must, let it fuel your transformation. It's beautiful. Wow. I'm open to more. Is there more, Vincent? Or is that... Is something a little else coming through? And he's offering a solution to those who are like, oh my gosh, that sounds great, but how the hell do I do that? Because that sounds really hard. It's really hard to process all this stuff. And this is where he's reminding us the energy you need in that space is a container, and you need mothering energy. And you can find that maybe in a friend, in a community, in a therapist. Like, you can find those spaces that feel safe. That's the container. They feel safe. They feel reliable. They feel sturdy, right? They're consistently available to you. And then they contain that mothering energy that holds space for you to observe. That is how you do this. That is how you process this. That is how you come to get to know yourself on this level. And in turn, it would make you a more fantastic artist. You will become far more fantastic artist when you can process this. And not only that, hello, you are emotionally free. You are emotionally free. You are emotionally free from that turmoil and that, really tragic space that some artists, we find ourselves in. Thank you, Vincent. What else? Do you have any other messages for the Awakened Creators community at this time? I'm going to receive this and share it. He's thanking me, he's thanking us, he's thanking our devotion as artists, as creators, as awakened creators. He's thanking our devotion. And I'm feeling called to offer this, is Amanda speaking. I'm feeling called to offer this wisdom about, or not wisdom, but knowledge about the spiritual nature of Vincent's life. And to those of you who didn't know, he was a deeply spiritual man. And to call that out so that you're reminded that this journey is meant to go together. Art and spirituality are very intertwined. And so he is very grateful for this community. And he wishes that something like this was around, that he'd have a safer space to learn and apply his spiritual wisdom to what he was going through inside, so that it wouldn't be so difficult to deal with as one being. Because that's a lot for someone to handle on their own. And that isolation fuels the pain. Connection is the cure. Connection, community, loving people around you. Again, creating that container for you to be imperfect. That is the cure. That is the cure. And for a lot of mental illness, he's saying that if we can find ways to connect, if we can find ways to bring ourselves together, if we can find ways to support each other, that is the cure for all this mental health issues that we have, is connecting people, bringing them together, holding space for each other's growth, allowing it to be okay and acceptable that one of us is not doing well, but circling around that person and saying, oh, you're not doing well, guess what? You are the focus of our attention. You have all of us. We are here, and we are patient, and we will wait, and we will give you space, and we will let you be, and we will just hold you in love. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. What else? Do you have anything else? It's a very specific message, short and sweet. Go outside. Go outside. Go outside more. Go outside. Go outside. Go in nature. Go outside. I'm trying to ask, like, why go outside? And he's saying that you'll know when you go. You'll know why you needed to go outside when you go outside. Nature holds the answers. Connecting, communing holds those answers. So go outside. Thank you, Vincent. That feels complete for this session. However, I do feel he will be back.